welcome to the Marley Bird YouTube channel, brought to you by Red Heart Yarns. In this video, I'm going to show you how to tuck away those strands as you're working stranded knitting, so that way you don't have a really long float going from one colored stitch to the next colored stitch. This will make sense as I work this, so just follow along with me. Grab any worsted weight yarn and needles that you're working on a stranded Fair Isle project, and let's do this together. Down here you can see I am working on a project called the Snow Speckled Hat, where I need to use my white color every 5th stitch. When I strand my yarn from this stitch to this stitch, on the inside of my work I get these really long floats, which are not that bad, and they're very consistent, and I'm making sure that I have a lot of slack between each one. But usually when I don't want floats, I will tuck in my strand or hide my float about every 2 to 3rd stitch, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. In this pattern, I need to knit 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches with my blue color, and then on the next stitch I will knit with my white. What I'm going to do is I will knit 2 stitches, and then I am going to hide my float or tuck my float into the next stitch, and then I will knit the next one. Okay, so let's do this together as my stitch falls off. Oops. All right, so I will go ahead and I will knit 1 stitch with one color, 1 stitch with the same color. Now I'm going to hide my float or tuck in my float. All right, you ready? I go into the stitch with a right hand needle. I yarn around my right hand needle with the yarn I don't want to use. I yarn around my right hand needle with the yarn I want to use. Now I unwind the yarn that I don't want to use, and I complete my knit stitch. What that has done is it has tucked this yarn right there, so I no longer have a really long float. I can carry on now, go ahead and work my 4th stitch. Now I have 4 blues, and I'm ready to work my white once again, just like before. And you can see right here, my float is no longer this really long float like before. It got tucked in. Let me show you how to do that again. Now this is as if I'm using the color I want to tuck in. It's in my right hand, okay? So I will knit a couple stitches, and the next one is the one I'm going to hide my float or tuck my float. You ready? I go in, I wrap my needle with the color I don't want to use, I wrap my needle with the color I want to use, and I unwrap with the color that I don't want to use. All that does is it leaves the color I want to use remaining on my right hand needle, and I complete my knit stitch. I'll go ahead and knit one more stitch just like I was doing. And it's time for me to work with my white again, and I carry on. You see that? You see how it's tucking in my floats so that I don't get these really long floats? Isn't that cool? Now, what if I had the yarn in my opposite hand? What if the color I don't want to use is in my left hand and the color I want to use is in my right hand? Here we go. Are you ready? So let's say we're going to knit a couple stitches with the color we want. Now I go in with the color I don't want. I lay it over top of my needle. Color I want, I wrap it around my needle. Color I don't want, I take off my needle, and I complete my knit stitch. Work one more stitch, and then I'm ready to do my knit with my white just like I was supposed to. If I turn it over, you can see my yarn is tucked in right there. It doesn't show on the right side of my fabric, and my yarn is tucked in. Let me show you one more time. So this is as if the yarn that I don't want to use is in my left hand. The yarn I want to use is in my right. So I wrap with my blue, I wrap with my blue. I'm going to tuck this one. You ready? So I go in the stitch, lay my yarn over top of the needle, take this yarn, wrap it around the needle, take the yarn that I don't want to use and unwrap, and then finish my knit. And then I knit one more, and I carry on with my pattern. Can you see that? So what this does is it makes it so that no longer do I have these really super long floats as I'm going along. I am tucking in my floats as I work along, making it less likely to snag, and it gives me a little bit more control of the stretch of my floats. Hopefully this will help you improve your stranded knitting and add a little bit more excitement with the two colors going back and forth and you're tucking in your ends, and you'll improve your knitting and impress your friends. I'm Marley Bird, proud spokesperson for Red Heart Yarns. If you want to learn more about the snow speckled hat, go ahead and click on that little I button right there. It'll take you to the video for the hat. Or you can also check out the video description box below for all the links that are important to you. And make sure you smash that like button. Thanks everybody. Bye! Hey, don't leave yet. I'm sure there are other videos here that you will enjoy. Go ahead and check out some of my knitting and crochet videos as well as some of my crafting videos. You will love them, I promise. If you hit subscribe, you'll be up to date whenever there's a new video released. And as my kids say, don't forget to smash that like button. Bye! Everything you need to know about knitting or crochet can be found right here on the Marley Bird YouTube channel. Learn with Marley Bird. Visit youtube.com/Marley Bird.